Hello, everybody. One more time. This is Old Buck Dave, and with me is you know who,
Yeah, old Buckdale.
Old Buck Dale. This is episode 212 of the Two Old Bucks. So we have good news and bad news. The bad news is our featured guest Mahesh Patel had to cancel out. Unfortunately, he's had some biotechnical difficulties, and so we are rescheduling him for next time. It'll be next episode. So that's I guess that was the,
And, and I would encourage everybody to want to tune in for that too, because
that's really going to be a special episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a remarkable,
He's
remarkable individual.
yes, yes. Dale and I have both read the book now, and Dale particularly
I can relate to some of his
could
stories.
relate to some of his
Yeah,
stories, and
yeah,
so yeah, we're going to have a good
yeah.
time
We
with
were both
Mahesh
men of the
next
world,
time.
So anyhow, we'll
So
we'll look forward
anyhow,
to that, Dave.
so we're gonna
So
so yeah so yeah so we're going to make stuff up here.
no, it's
No, I know,
when the
I
old
know.
bucks meet, in the wild, the old bucks are in competition, but these two old bucks are old buddies. And so, if you're listening to the old bucks, we're about friendship. We're about talking about we like to be on the positive side. So,
So tell me
anyhow,
something positive.
I was
We,
well something positive. I wanted to tell our listeners that uh, we went on a road trip,
yes, we did.
and and this road trip, I would envision it's something like 63, 1963, and we say, can you borrow the old 53 Pontiac? We're gonna go on a trip, So it's that kind of anticipation. We were on a mission, and we were gonna pedal to that thing, and this time Dave was driving, but a good road trip with a couple old buddies, especially as far back as we go, is really quite fun. I mean,
Can't beat it. Yeah.
yeah, there's no criticizing of the driving. I mean, it's like if we
Not
make a wrong
much. I
turn,
mean,
we make a wrong turn. Well, you only scared me once, but we
only
got
once. I only scared you once. That's true.
and we and we went a long way. I mean, there's a lot of traffic and a lot of things, and of course
In
we
the
have
rain. Yeah.
in the rain, and we have GPS and all this stuff now. So we went on a road trip. We were actually looking at some bicycles.
An old bike for Dave.
Yeah, an old.
Dave needed another bicycle.
And why I'm laughing at that is because he has plenty to ride now, but there's something about this bike. But that was the mission. That was the agenda of the mission. So we're cruising down the road, looking ahead for the turns, and I think it's here, I think it's there. We're talking, bantering back and forth, and running the gamut of subjects. I mean, you just go this way and that way on all kind of talking about stuff. So time is passing very quickly. We're already going about 55 miles already. We went that far, and we get off of the main roads into some side roads and looking around the territory we didn't see. We're commenting on this house and commenting on that, and it's all fun. So we pulled into this man's driveway. I think his name is Roy, wasn't it, Roy?
Roy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we pull into the driveway of a man's house, and from just at the edge of the driveway, I see a garage with a car in it. A nice, I would say a ranch type of ranch house. You would describe it that way, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, a ranch house.
That's right.
Okay. To the left is a garage with a car in it, and and to the right of the house is a pickup truck. In front of the pickup truck is a boat. Okay, so already my jaw is starting to drop. See, think about that. All you men out there. Okay.
He's got
Nice
the
little
man
house.
toys. He's got the man toys.
Yeah. So we exit the car. So we get to the garage, and he greets us. And I mean, he was a handsome, fit looking gentleman. And
Looked
I
better
looked,
than we did. Yeah.
yeah, I said to Dave, I said, yeah, I'm thinking he's about our age. And so I looked at the garage. There's some power tools. There's a workbench. There is some bicycles hanging on the wall, some bicycles on the floor. There's fishing rods up in the ceiling. I mean,
Many, many rods.
right. And I said to myself, boy, oh boy, this guy really is, all the toys that you could want. And he doesn't live far from the Gulf, the Gulf of what
It's
is it,
still the Gulf
Mexico?
of Mexico. Yeah.
so so anyhow, the gentleman, we greet him, he greets us. He said, come on inside for a minute and warm up because it was cool that day. And I said, all right. So we go in. I was bundled up uh, as if I was on a bus tour, which you laughed about.
You
Anyhow,
were you were Bundleruski. Yeah.
yeah, I was bundle Ruski, but you took me anyhow. You didn't
I
didn't
did.
query my dress code. So I have all this stuff on, and I have sweatpants over sweatpants and various other things to stay warm. So we walk into the house, and the first thing you notice is there was a couple little dogs, but the first thing I noticed was some of the pictures and some of there was an actual fireplace, a big stone
Wood burning.
fireplace,
Wood
a
burning
wood
fire.
burning fireplace,
And it was burning.
and it was fired up, and I'm looking around in there, and I said, man, this guy's a bit of a collector for artwork. I mean, now you
Sketches.
were you were familiar because you had preliminary been there, but this is new to me. So I'm looking around and thinking, wow, look at this, look at those sketches, and they look to be in pencil or chalk.
Pencil, yeah.
Turned out to be pencil, number two pencil, and they were intricate. There was one picture of a squirrel where every hair on his tail you could see it, and so I'm just kind of my mouth is open, and I'm looking at these things. I said, wow, that is really nice. I'm thinking what craft show he went to buy these. And then to my left, just in one of the other sitting rooms, a little sitting room, there's a big model boat, like one of those old sailing ships that Columbus rode in. I said, look at that. Now, folks, if you've ever seen those, the intricacies of those things with the ropes and the pulleys and all the stuff, it's just a million things on those things. Here it is, a boat in the glass container. I'm marveled at all this. And what's he tell us, Dave, that he did?
He said, I made all that. Yeah.
He said, I did all this.
Yeah.
I did the pictures. I made the sculptures of birds and
A lot
all
of
this
wood
stuff.
carvings of animals and
Beautiful
birds
stuff.
on the.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. And I said, you made the boat too? He said, yeah, I built that. He said, it took me about a year. And I was just like totally, totally taken back by this guy's skill level. So to make a long story short, we not only did we enjoy our trip, but as we were about to leave, we were backing out. And he was standing in his garage waving to us and thanked us because just a wonderful fellow. And Dave said, you know how old he is? I said, no. I said, I assume he's just about our age. How old was he, Dave?
90.
90.
90. Yeah.
90. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So anyhow, we rode back, and
What are you going to do?
yeah, on the way home, we said, what do you say we do lunch? And we managed to find ourselves a little spot. It worked out really well for it. Just had a wonderful day.
We
Wonderful
did.
day. I had a wonderful day. I recommend, if you got an old friend, this was just a couple of old friends, girls or boys, whoever your old friends were. It's good to do a road trip.
It is. Well, let me throw a couple other things in. It was a wonderful road trip. You asked him how long have you been doing this wood carving and sketching? And he said, oh, I don't know, 20 years. And his wife said, more like 25. And then asked him like, well, how'd you get started in this? And that's where it was really became heartfelt. He said, well, my first wife developed dementia, and
That's right.
I had to stay with her and keep an eye on her all the time. And I took up the wood carving and the sketching as something to fill my hours while I was taking care of my wife. So I thought that was very touching.
That was, I have the respect jumped even leaps and bounds on then. And then I said, you were able to you did it in the shop. He said, no, a lot of it I did on the kitchen table. And I'm thinking, what,
Yeah.
what devotion, what effort. So that
And
was just
the other good thing is I did buy his bicycle. I bought his old touring bike
yeah.
because I don't have enough bicycles.
It was like brand new. I mean,
Yeah,
you wouldn't know
he
you did.
took he took excellent care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll tell you
So,
what I did. Now, I bought that because I'm going to be doing a tour in September with Superman Terry and a couple other guys. We're gonna ride the Erie Canal, so it's another adventure coming up here. And I took the ultimate and painful step once I bought that bike is I sold my Carbon Road bike, my Cannondale Synapse High Mod, uh, Zing Zong, Super Duper wheels. I thought, as much as I like this, I have to stop. I have to stop. So I put the bike up for sale and sold it in about a week. And
so, so
the
that
guy
worked
that
out for
bought
you.
it, the guy that bought it showed up. I had it in the garage, on the bike rack, on the repair stand,
Yeah.
all shining. And I said, okay, I put some flat pedals on it if you want to take it for a test drive. And he says, no, no, this is good. This is what I'm looking for. I said, you don't want to ride it? No, I don't need to ride it. So, and he starts counting out $100 bills, and it's like, dang, I priced it too low. I don't know, but no, it's gone. It's gone, and so it
And now
is
you have you got one is gone and you have a new one to play with to
to
tune
play
up and
with.
tweak.
Yeah, and that one's getting tweaked. And then I picked up another kind of a junker here for my. It's going to be my grandson's bike. Now that one is a bear. Okay, the seat post is frozen, and the both pedals are frozen, and the bottom bracket is frozen.
This thing was outside a lot or something rusted.
I think it just did. It's metals being in close contact for a long time without
Oh,
lube in between them, and they get a galvanic reaction. So I have been I took it to Coach at the bike shop, and we put it in the vise, and the two of us were kind of we couldn't move the seat post, so I'm going to put penetrating oil in for a week and see what happens. Superman Terry told me to I
take the torch to it, huh?
put the torch to the pedals, and that worked. With some heat and some banging, I did get both pedals uh, off this morning. Have not been able to crack either the bottom bracket or the seat. So this may end up being a different kind of project, but it's all about the love. It's all about the love. Anyway, that's enough bicycling.
That's a
That's,
nice thing.
yeah.
So, hey, I wanted to tell you, do you see that article about the Chinese have developed a faster AI product or something?
Yeah. Yeah. What about
How,
that?
how do you interpret that? I interpreted it meant that their AI learned faster than our AI. Is that correct? Is that the way that?
And cheaper. Okay. They do not have access to the best and brightest chips. So they have figured out a way to use less sophisticated chips to do the same thing and to actually doing it much more efficiently. They said it costs about 10% of what it costs to train one of the big U.S.
So the money involved it
LLMs
really is the cost of the chip and assembling the device that the
and the
computer
training
is in it
and
and the
and
training.
all the training that you have to do. And the training means it's just dumping all the data into it and then teaching it and teaching it to give you the right
Well,
answers.
they I only mention it because I tried to after business hours I tried to contact a a business. Uh, so I went to their website and you're playing around in a website for a certain business and you see that little icon that says can I help you?
Mm.
You ever, so I said, oh, maybe it's a person or something. I'll chat with him. And even some operations as big as Home Depot, they've got a lot of AI. So I said, all right, I'll try it. So maybe I'm just foolish. So I click on it and it says, how may I help you? I didn't see the little part on the bottom that says bot, BOT,
Mm.
tiny little letters.
Mm-hmm.
I crafts the most beautiful question with a song and dance with it, a lot of flowery language telling them what I'm asking about, and I wrote this whole thing up. I send, I send it, click, I get a response back and said, I do not understand. Please choose from these three options.
There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the new world.
Is it warranty, find my product, or, check my order? So
Oh,
right off the bat, I said, this is, so I started playing with it. I started writing it different ways. I tried it. And each time they would come back and say, I don't understand this. This doesn't, it just didn't. I did that about 6 times. I'm laughing at myself.
mhm.
If this AI would have realized I was asking a question, they would have said, we can't, it should have said, we can't answer this now. Try calling when we're open for business.
Yeah. Yeah. You're only going to get more of that, buddy.
Yeah. And that's frustrating.
It is
That's
frustrating.
actually quite frustrating. The skill level that you have to even confirm something like an appointment is almost I mean, if you have any limited mental capacity, I don't see how anybody can get through that. I mean, you just can't. You'd have to have somebody help you all the time to find out where the product was or where it's at or that kind of thing. So I thought that was funny, but I said I don't usually do that, but I tried it this time, and it's not quite that sophisticated yet, I guess. So, oh, by the way, on a high note, I did finally today during business hours did contact the business I was looking for, and they were very polite. Talked to a young girl. She answered my questions, and
See
I said, "Oh
that?
well, and how about that?" And a real person picked up.
A real person.
Yeah,
So there.
so what else? Anything else new with you? Oh, I want to talk about books.
All right. I can talk about books too. Books and movies I can talk about. I can always talk about that.
Okay, all listeners out there, we like books. We're readers. I belong to book club. Dave is an avid reader. Short stories. We've interviewed authors. Um, some really cool people that been able to write book. Mahesh is also a writer, and one of our favorite guys who's no longer with us, Frank Young, just was anyhow, wonderful people, great skills. So I'm scouring around for just something to keep me occupied, since my friend Dave didn't give me anything from his selections, which he sometimes saves my hiney when he says, read this, try this, Dale.
I gave you a book last week.
Well, I was reading that one. This is a different story. It's before
Yeah.
that, before you
Okay.
handed me that one. It's like when you handed me the one by the book thief.
Hmm.
And that book, I mean, out of the blue, I was in tears. That was so emotional to me. Well,
So
anyhow,
what book are we talking about today?
Elmore Leonard.
Elmore Leonard.
Elmore Leonard. Some trashy detective novels.
Oh yes.
I see a documentary, so I get hooked onto a couple of these. I read one, I laugh about it. Mr. Majestic. I knew there was a movie about that. So I get hooked on it, and I'm laughing about it. I said, oh, this sounds so familiar. So I see a documentary on PBS. Elmore Leonard set the precedent for so many things in movies and I mean characters, and I couldn't believe it. Like Clint Eastwood and him were buddies, because it was Elmore Leonard that came up with the hat that Clint Eastwood wore in his cowboy movies. Everybody else was wearing a cowboy hat. You know,
And he wore the
he
the
with that,
Melania hat.
yeah, the Melania.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I said to myself, this man was the creative genius that sort of set this baseline for characters that had these, and other people then expanded on that, from maybe Harry Bosch or Jack Reacher or some of these other folks. But Elmore Leonard. So I picked up another one of his books, and I'm laughing to myself. It wasn't until the last 3 pages before the woman finally shot the guy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Don't tell us the title. You're good.
No, I'm not going to tell you the title. He said,
Okay.
and
We'd be
and
shocked if you did.
and there's another. He says, and he describes this guy sitting across the table from another guy he doesn't like, and this guy's chewing gum, and the fact that he's chewing gum is bothering this one guy. So he takes out his pistol, and he said he shot him right through the bubble. then I realized that there were so many characters on television and movies like designed by Elmore Leonard. So I picked up another one, which the most recent one is a movie on Netflix called Justified. You haven't
Okay.
seen it. It's
Nope,
about a
not seen
it's
it.
about a U.S. Marshal, and I saw it, and I said, "Man, this guy is really cool." Not having any idea where it came from. I don't know if it's still playing on Netflix, but for some reason I saw an episode of that on regular TV.
Tell me the name of this again.
Uh, the movie is called Justified. Justified.
Justified.
Mhm.
I'll see if I can put a link to that.
Well, you can. Well, you can. But I think what fascinates me is how books are written, how they're spaced, why the author does what he does, what sells, what's the motivation. We talk about it all the time in book club circles when an author will make a statement and someone will get upset about it. Like, why did he insult that lady? Why does he? I said, it's a story.
It's fiction. It's a story.
Fiction. It's a story, right?
It's a
He
story.
says, well, they'll say to me, why did that character say that? I said, the character is a figment of the imagination of this author. The author is he's the one that thought of that. And it cracks me up when people get upset about this, some character. I said, think about how he wrote it. Are you reading it? Yes. Do you like it? Yes. Can you put it down? No. And then it's great. So look out, people. Elmore Leonard, early 1980s and 90s.
Elmore.
A little bit of trashy, a little bit of there's no
Get Shorty. Get Shorty. I remember I read.
I haven't found
that was one of the ones I read. Is Get Shorty. I think that's the first one I read.
So
yeah, it was good. All right, a plug for Elmore. I got a little.
He passed away by now. You know that, don't
you? I guess I forgot that. I forget a lot of things.
Yeah.
I just I am finishing up a short story collection right now. It's called Slow Learner, and the author is Thomas Pynchon. He's he's a famous author. I think the thing that people most recognize is his book Gravity's Rainbow, which takes place near the end of World War II and deals with the German V-2 rocket program, and so that that's a recommendation there. But this collection, this is 5 short stories. The first stories that he published, and he was a young guy at this point. Now he's got a 25-page introduction in the book, kind of explaining why these stories were so bad. And you know what? He's right. They're bad. They are bad. I mean, this is a young author starting out. You can tell he's I mean, okay, he's on his worst day, he's a better author than I am, but they are just
so Dave, what I'm hearing is an author prefaces his work with 25 pages of why this work is bad.
Yes. No, he's looking back. No, this is published, this is an edition that's published many years later. And he says, boys, this story and this story and this story and that. But boy, they're really just not great stories, not great stories. On the other hand, in my short story class this week, we read 2 really fascinating horror stories. One was Fall of the House of Usher, Edgar Allan Poe, 1839, published. Great old classic. It's way too many adjectives. It's a really flowery language, but boy, he can put you in the mood. If you want to feel dark and dreary, he's the guy that can get you there. And then we also read
Edgar Allan, right?
Yeah, and we read a Stephen King short story also. It's another, which is a horror story of a young boy having an encounter with the devil. Also, modern language, good story. Big difference. The stories were different, yet they had a lot of similarities too. It was fun. So those are my book stories. And I can talk movies. You want to talk movies?
You said you saw a movie about. You told me about the movie of Bob Dylan.
We talked about that. Yes. Yeah.
We did talk about. Did you see another one since then?
Well, this is just I'm watching series on TV. Okay, I'm watching this
Oh,
this series, Shrinking. This is for something a little bit lighter. It's on Apple TV Plus, and it stars Jason Segel, Krista Miller, Jessica Williams, and Harrison Ford, and a bunch of other people. So Segel, Williams, and Ford are psychiatrists. They have a practice, and like Harrison Ford is like the senior person in the practice, and Jason Segel is like the main character in the series. His wife has recently died, and he's struggling to get over that and looking for ways to adapt and adjust, and decides that he needs to take a more personal interest in his patients and in their problems. Which Harrison Ford says, that's just a real bad idea. That's exactly what we're not supposed to do. So it's some of the things that come out of those relationships with patients. So I mean, it's cute, it's funny, it's goofy sometimes, but
how
it's
do you
nice and
pick
like
these? How do you pick these?
I just look and see what's out there and look for some reviews on it and say, "Well, okay, we'll give this a try." I mean, it's
Oh, okay. You bring
if
it.
you don't
Yeah.
like it, you just stop watching it. It's real simple.
Oh, so
But
the
uh,
basically you sample it or you watch it a bit,
yeah,
and these are out of the 20 or five ones you might have started. This is one that you decided to keep
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. No,
Okay.
Harrison Ford he's the senior person, as I mentioned. He's got Parkinson's disease, which is starting to impact him a bit, and
Harrison doesn't.
his character does.
Oh,
His character does. Okay, sorry. And he's trying to figure out how to break this to his daughter and that sort of thing. And he's admitting that he can't, he can't drive the car so well anymore. And so it's got a lot of that stuff that's a lot of subplots like that going on.
relevant to our stage of life, huh?
Yeah, and Williams, Jessica Williams, she's tall, this tall black gal, and she is just funny, and she's good, and she's a real foil to Siegel here. And then Jessica Williams plays the neighbor, the woman next door, and it's like she takes care of Siegel's daughter sometimes when he's having a bad day, and she
So, so I was going to say, it seems uh, you picked a number of movies over time we've talked about that you liked. So it looks to me like there's more of that going on than there is theater stuff. You know what I mean? Like you don't go to the movie theater every time to see a movie. These this is
it's too easy to watch it at home. Come on,
and it's not like an hour and a half or something. These are just 1 hour segments.
Yeah, 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch one or
Commercial
two.
free.
Commercial, commercial free. Yeah. Can't beat it.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Do I have
So that's
anything?
where all the good stuff's at, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, I'm watching some kind of heavier stuff too, but I don't, but this is a little bit lighter and it's a good change. It's a good change. So,
Okay.
okay.
Hey, we have
Hey,
any how much time we got left on this
I have
episode? Do we
no
have
idea.
Oh, okay.
If
Hey,
you say, if we say
my
something dumb,
mind
I'll just edit it out. So we'll be the
my
only
mind
ones to
was
know that.
my mind was wondering. I've been I was thinking about the fires in California. I'm sure everybody's got a thought on that, or at least feels sympathetic, or there's some. You'd have
Oh
to be totally
yeah,
unemotional not to think about what those folks are going through.
yeah.
I'm thinking. I said, boy, oh boy, when that much property, that much acreage, is knocked down all in one go. That's almost like looking at the pictures of what Ukraine or Gaza or something like that. You're thinking, how do you start from that condition? It'd be different if it was all forest. Maybe you think, well, I got to cut the trees down. So I'm thinking about this, and wouldn't you know, there was an article on public radio. I said, huh, there's people much smarter than me thinking about this.
That's hard to
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, much smarter than me. So I'm thinking, how could you give somebody a start without making putting 1,000 homes up that look exactly the same. You know what I mean? Because if you have one design, one style, like
Those
sometimes
houses are not going to look the same. I can
I'm
guarantee.
thinking, I'm
We're
thinking they
talking
won't.
Southern California here.
Well, I'm thinking they won't, but I mean, it's still, they have to start. So can there be a Home Depot big enough to supply the materials for this? I
It's going
mean,
to take a lot of Home Depots.
yeah, I mean, how
Yeah.
many forests is going to have to be cut to even get the timbers for the roof? So maybe they'll design things that don't have peaked roofs, like these boxy, squarey, boxy cement things in Florida that are designed to be hurricane proof.
Hmm.
You know, that style. I mean, it's kind of ultra modern looking, but just looks like
Well,
look like
there certainly are some design things you can do to lessen the effect. There are some houses that survived a lot better than others because of the way they were designed. But hey, you got a forest fire raging through those communities. The trees are gone now. You don't have to worry about the trees for another 40 years, I guess.
well that
But it's just
so
it's a tragedy, really.
so they're talking about this, and I'm thinking, well, that's just really the tip of the iceberg. They're saying, we had a very cosmopolitan community. You know what I mean? Yeah, some houses look like this, some houses look like that, some houses are everybody as it grew from one house to the other up the side of those mountains, there was different shapes, different sizes, different things. Thinking, well, I mean, imagine trying to restore that house. You were the third owner and it took 65 years to get it to that point.
Hmm.
How would you get it all back there? So I figure there has to be something that will give these folks shelter while they build the dream houses that they want. And whether they would do those houses that you computer print, where you can get the walls up in a couple of days, and everybody starts out with maybe a 48 by 60 or something that has the potential to be built on. But I think they just need someplace to stay, right? I mean, they need to clear the plots
I
off and
imagine a lot of people are
get a
staying with
tent on that thing
relatives,
or
staying in
something.
hotels. Yeah,
It'll
staying
be
somewhere
interesting.
else.
I don't
Yeah.
think we'll live to see the completion of that, but it'll certainly live to see enough of how that starts. But
Well, I hope I live that long.
oh, yeah, yeah, you'll remember how to work the podcast when you're that
Yeah.
old. Yeah, I'm sure you will. So,
Yeah.
so anyhow, I
You know what
gave
I
it
think?
I gave that some thought. Anyhow, that's probably put that in the back burner, I suppose. No one has asked me my opinion on that. I just felt bad for those guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was younger, maybe I'd volunteer and
Yeah.
do something like that. Go out and help them.
Yeah.
So, well,
Well,
that's
here
pretty much all I got to say.
I think here we are with with 20 minutes notice here to make stuff up. So I think we got through
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
we apologize. It's unfortunate that Mahesh couldn't be here. He will be here for the next episode. So everybody that that dropped this one, that downloaded this one to listen for Mahesh, sorry, but hang in there. He'll be here. He'll be here. We promise it.
And all those folks in those foreign nations that tuned into the Two Old Bucks, uh, it's about friendship. You got a buddy. If he's, whether he's from a Dubaian, is that what they're called? Dubaians? If they live in
Dubai.
Dubai?
Speaking of, it's funny you mentioned Dubai. The city that had the most downloads of our last episode was Dubai. We had more downloads from Dubai than we did Sarasota. So I don't know
Th-
what's going on in Dubai.
those are they're
But
probably all.
you're famous there. That's all you're famous.
Well, I want to greet all our friends there, but they're probably expatriates from Kuwait or something like that. Anyhow, they are people, and they have friends, and it's always good to have a good road trip with a friend or someone to tell your stories to. See, you and I are looking at each other on Zoom, and we spend a lot of time looking at each other in person, and that is the best part of life. So all the best to you folks out there. Enjoy your books, and this is old Buck Dale saying, talk to you next time.
Old Buck Dave right behind him saying, take care, folks. Talk to you next time. Bye bye.